Sabo is so crazy for this. Sabo is a crazy mad lad to do this. These aren't just five ordinary guys. This is the five elders, the highest authority of the entire world government. And not only does he turn his rage towards them, but also Imu. Sabo tried to take out these guys in one fell swoop. That is insane. One Piece chapter 1085. Where do you even start with a chapter like this, really? Somebody please tell me. Let's start with Sabo, I guess, because Sabo's role in all of this is way bigger than what I thought, because of course we knew from the onset this guy had nothing to do with the demise of King Cobra. RIP, always a real one. But what we didn't know were the nitty-gritty details of what actually transpired when Sabo arrived at the crime scene. And this guy didn't just show up. This wasn't a matter of wrong time, wrong place for Sabo. He straight up went for the head, and you have to admire that. The balls of this guy to try and pull this off. Now what we must ask ourselves is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how is Sabo? This goes way beyond just attacking an ordinary world noble, by the way. We've seen Sai and Leo, they attack St. Charlos. That is punishable by execution, by the way. What Sabo goes and does is like the 100th level beyond that. He attacks the highest ranking of the celestial dragons in the supposed king of the world in one attack. You talk about declaring war, that is one hell of a way to declare war on the world government right there. Sabo is, oddly enough, one of those characters in One Piece that the One Piece community is pretty divided on. Whether it be not liking his introduction into the story, feeling that it was a little bit contrived, which is I think pretty valid, or you just don't like that Sabo essentially picks up where Ace left off. When Portuguese D Ace died, that hit Luffy right in the feels because he lost a older brother. He lost his only surviving older brother, or so he thought. After Sabo was reintroduced in the Dressrosa arc, he basically picked up the torch that Ace left, reignited it, and ran with it. Sabo's attack ultimately amounted to nothing, and that was to be expected because there was no way this dude was going to eviscerate the highest powers in the world that easily. So it's easy to say that, well, Sabo's attack was useless, and if you look at it cut and dry like that, then yes, I suppose there's some truth to that. But looking at it from a different perspective, Sabo showed literally no hesitation, and he is the perfect example of what the Revolutionary Army is supposed to represent. I have a whole video talking about the Revs, so I'm not going to go too in depth here about that. Sabo's approach is hot-headed, and you would think this would interfere with his position, but it's quite the opposite. Sabo succeeded in every single thing he set out to do at this year's Reverie. There was a plan, he executed it, and the death of the Gorosei and Imu would have just been the icing on the cake. This is ultimately a war that is being waged against the world government by the Revolutionary Army, so if an opportunity presents itself where you can take out the king and his knights in one fell swoop, why wouldn't anybody take that? Now that doesn't make it any less crazy that the five elders in Imu were attacked, and they just weren't attacked by anybody, they were attacked by Sabo. And this makes you realize that crazy things on this scale of this magnitude are going to be happening every single week going forward until we get to the end of One Piece. So to wrap this whole thing up for Sabo, he succeeds in every mission he meant to at the Reverie. He tried to murder the king of the world. He's being framed for the assassination of King Cobra, and lastly, he's now bearing some serious classified information. It is not public knowledge that the Nefertari are members of the D. Sabo now knows this, and he knows that Vivi is also a D by association. This information is getting back to Monkey D. Dragon, by the way, so one can only imagine what the implications and what the fallout to this information is going to be. I just thought of something. I think Sabo is going to be the first person we see with a bounty poster that says only dead on it. Usually, of course, bounty posters say dead or alive, Sanji being the one exception to that. Judge had it fixed to where his bounty poster says alive because they were looking for the man. I speculated that Dragon might be somebody who we see, or like the first person we see whose bounty poster says only dead on it, but after seeing what Sabo did in this Reverie, I'm kind of inclined to lean towards that being Sabo. And if he does in fact get issued a new bounty poster, what could this number be? The funny part about this is, before I even get into Sabo's potential bounty, the funny thing about this, they have no idea that Sabo's alive. They thought they erased Sabo when they erased Lucia. Emu is going to have an out-of-body experience, like he's seeing the ghost of Joy Boy when Sabo resurfaces. My god. Back to Sabo's bounty though. Would it be too crazy to say that I could see Sabo having a bounty of, get ready for this one, 5 billion berries? And let me explain my reasoning for that. You don't declare war against the world government, attack the highest powers of the world government, escape, survive being nuked on Lucia, and they say, you know what? We're giving this guy the same bounty we gave Law K for beating a Yonko. 3 billion berries. No way. Sabo's bounty is gonna have to be at least 4 billion. Nothing under 4 billion berries for Sabo. I'm banking on 5 because I think Dragons, his bounty is probably 6 billion or so, higher than Roger and Whitebeard's. Emu called the DF today a faint echo in comparison to what they were like before, way back 800 years ago, right? Let's take the last Pirate King, Goldie Roger, for example. This man discovered Laugh-Tale, he uncovered the truth of the world. That made Goldie Roger the biggest threat to the world government in over 800 years. And keep in mind, Goldie Roger wasn't even actively waging war against the world government. He was just some pirate from some dingy island on the East Blue who happened to bear the D, who happened to stumble upon the secret of the world. What do you think Dragon's bounty is going to look like? Sabo's bounty? Those guys are doing way more than what Goldie Roger is doing. Save finding Laugh-Tale, they are waging a head-to-head battle against the world government. With the information they know, I say easily Sabo and Dragon should be around 5 to 6 billion. I will accept nothing less. People have the nerve to talk to me about Ace being a better big brother compared to Sabo. Ace died and Marineford on the battlefield after a Yo Daddy joke. Aki Inu told Ace, Yo Daddy sucks. Ace took that personal, died. Sabo is breaking 800 years of oppression and injustice. Sabo, Ace, and that's the end of it. That is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do for me. Make sure you smash that like button if you're new here, man. Welcome to the kingdom. You make sure you subscribe. You guys be easy, and I'll catch you later, man.